I come from an Agile background as a product owner. So I've run ceremonies, I've written stories, I've managed backlogs. I have that experience. So when I was at a former company and we transitioned from Waterfall to Agile, Nimesh was our Agile coach, and I gained a lot of information from him and felt like I was able to really support the team, my EDI team, as a product owner. While I was in that role, I did actually transition to another team of the data and reporting analytics team as the product owner. So I knew Nimesh from a previous position, a previous life. And as I was looking to do some professional development, I reached out to Nimesh first, just finding out, hey, how do I go about getting some certifications? Is there a test I have to take? What do I have to do to become certified in Agile and product owner? And then see what other options were available for me in that space. So I reached out to Nimesh again because he and I knew each other from a previous life and looked to him for guidance. So what I liked working with Nimesh in his classes and sessions was the personal aspect. So I always say I'm very personable. So I like that Nimesh would always start off the session with, how's everybody doing? What did you do this weekend? What did you do yesterday? Anything new to share? So we would just take maybe 5 or 10 minutes as a group and go over some things that might have happened in our lives personally or professionally. So I like that, breaking into the session instead of just getting right to it. So it was one thing I really enjoyed. Nimesh is very visual, always drawing, always taking pictures on his different boards and different technologies. So that was very helpful to see what he was drawing and what he was teaching. They coincided. It has helped with going back to notes, having access to some of those pictures. Makes sense as you can't write down as fast as you're always talking. So having that reference to go back to was super helpful. Very interactive. All of the courses and the sessions were very interactive. We would go into breakout groups. I enjoyed the breakout groups. Really, the breakout groups were great. We had a chance to talk to each other without Nimesh there. And then we would all get back together, review all of our notes together. Nimesh would offer some feedback, would expand upon things we've talked about, and even say, not quite, that wasn't really quite the way that I was going. So he would tell us we were wrong too. So that was good. Not everything we said was right, and he would tell us. So my current position, I'm not a product owner, but knowing this, I've been able to say some of the things to my boss. Hey, having just gone through a product owner class in Agile and Scrum certifications, here are some things that we could do differently. Again, not being in that product team, I'm not sure how they'll be taken or if they'll be used in the future. But I've given, I can speak to it and I can feel confident in what I'm saying is correct, having just gone through it. I'm able to say now that I'm certified in Scrum and Agile and a product owner. And I feel good personally that I've done some professional development for myself just to make me feel better about learning and continuing to learn. It was a great experience. Like I said, in my current position, I haven't really been able to implement any of the product owner tools and teachings that I've learned. As I move on to a new role, it was key to that group of people that I had my product owner certification. And speaking with some of the team members, when I use the phrase, as a so-and-so, I want something, so that I could see the one product owner, her face lit up. She's like, that is music to my ears. So she was really happy to hear that those are some of the knowledge that I have. But I do feel confident in what Nimesh taught us, that I should be fine. Nimesh recommended using some online note tools. So I finally have all of my product owner sessions documented. I'm now starting on the Scrum Master sessions to get them documented. So that will help with my studying as I'm rewriting everything and going back to the Miro boards and looking at pictures and drawings. So I'm looking forward to getting through that and then taking the test and being Scrum Master certified. So I feel very confident that what I've learned will help in future positions, current position, and get me prepared to take the test for Scrum Master certification. I can't say enough good things about Nimesh. Really, he's just great. Again, personable. If I don't know an answer, I don't feel, I know stupid's not a nice word to say, but I don't feel stupid if I can't answer it. I don't feel that I'm going to be mocked in the class for getting it wrong. Very supportive, very helpful. Having come from that product owner background, I might have been a little bit ahead of some of the other people, but again, he did not show any difference towards me, towards the others in what we knew. Any questions that came up, was very willing to answer and expand upon it as needed. So I feel like he was such a great teacher. I can't say that enough. Helpful, intuitive, knowledgeable, and personable. The main tool that I like that Nimesh recommended was Notion, and that's an online tool to keep notes. In there, you can break things up where you have sessions for Toolbox, creating another session for acronyms. A lot of acronyms are used in Agile, so that's helpful to have those different sections. You can go out, pull up, and search. Even within Notion, you can attach YouTube videos. So Nimesh has a ton of YouTube videos, which I've watched. So the YouTube videos are such a helpful tool. I have not purchased any of the books yet, but there are plenty of books on Amazon that Nimesh recommended, some articles that he's recommended to go to. And of course, the game sites, we haven't really, at my current position, we haven't used any of those tools for the different games to get people out of their shell, start talking. But I feel like I could use those games in future positions and use those references to go out to find a great game to get your team engaged, because there are some people who maybe they don't like to talk. They're a little bit shy. Using some of these games could be helpful in getting them out of their shell. I think Nimesh gave 5 or 6 links to go to for games, so those will be super helpful. So I would say the 2 or 3 tools are the Notion for documenting, YouTube videos, tons of them out there, and the game sites. I think the fact that Nimesh and even Brad, being a new coach, have offered to be there if you have questions, I think that's great, just to know that you have people as resources. I would be comfortable hiring Nimesh and or Brad in the future if something came up that I needed a refresher course, I needed some additional help. If I had to pay a consulting fee, let's say, for Agile, and had to hire Nimesh or Brad to help me with some questions or issues along the way, either of them I would be totally comfortable with hiring. I think Nimesh, being so personable and knowledgeable, is super helpful in getting us that knowledge that we need to succeed in our careers.